I know it's been an emotional day and we all want to get home for our break, but I really appreciate your joining with me in an adjourn of memory of someone who was my mentor, a close friend, and a larger-than-life person in terms of his influence, and that is former Berkeley Mayor Gus Newport. He was tough as nails in his focus on peace and justice, but he was generous, huge-hearted, and his smile could light up a room. Gus served as mayor for 8 years. Prior and after, he was a civil rights and social justice icon whose record of accomplishments, from civil rights activism to groundbreaking political initiatives to far-sighted community economic development programs and global solidarity, could fill volumes. He counted among his close friends Malcolm X, Danny Glover, Harry Belafonte, and Bernie Sanders. He was born in Rochester, New York. In the early 60s, he helped lead a successful police brutality case in federal court after the beating of a black gas station attendant. When Gus advocated on behalf of black Muslims who were arrested during a law enforcement raid at their mosque in Rochester, it drew the attention of Malcolm X. The two quickly became friends, and Gus helped Malcolm launch the Organization of Afro-American Unity in 1964. He was traveling with Malcolm a few days before Malcolm was assassinated. He helped Malcolm's widow, Betty Shabazz, by organizing a fundraiser headlined by Dizzy Gillespie and Miles Davis that was held at Sidney Poitier's home. Gus moved to Berkeley in 1974, and he took a job with the city of Berkeley. I met him in the late 70s when we were both involved in a community progressive coalition that recruited Gus to run for mayor and later recruited me to run for the city council. Because we were a grassroots political organization, didn't have any funding, his campaign staff were all volunteers, and I was one of the core of that. And in that role, driving Gus to events for that mayoral campaign, that is where I first encountered and learned about driving while black. I had never been pulled over. Yet, while I was driving Gus, over the course of a couple of months, I was pulled over multiple times. Only once given a ticket, and it was a fix-it ticket. No other tickets. Gus had to explain to me why I was being pulled over. When he was mayor, he built affordable housing that led to a veiled recall. He led Berkeley's campaign to be the first city to divest its funds from South Africa. He supported us environmental activists to stop a garbage incinerator and to make Berkeley the first city to set the goal of 50% waste reduction way back in '81. He immersed himself in global progressive causes, traveling to conferences on peace, Sweden, Spain, Finland, Cuba, many more, which gave him the nickname Galloping Gus. He went to El Salvador during that Civil War to visit a sister community that Berkeley had. And while he was there, he had to seek refuge in a makeshift underground shelter because US planes were bombing on the area where he was. In 1979, relevant to our previous discussion, he became the first mayor to ride in San Francisco's Gay Parade at a time when the current mayor refused to. And while he was mayor and I was on the council at the time as council majority, we made Berkeley the first city to offer domestic partners benefits for LGBTQ staff. Gus moved to Boston after he led the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, which was a community economic development and affordable housing nonprofit. He later returned to Oakland, lived there for the last 30 years, and that's where he passed away. And although he was 88 and had lost his leg due to vascular disease, he was planning another trip to Tennessee to meet with civil rights leaders when he had the stroke that took his life. He is survived by his wife, Catherine Cash, 2 brothers, 2 children, 1 grandchild. And let me just finish by saying, he was a master storyteller who could regale anyone listening with the stories of his activism over the decades. Actor Danny Glover said that the beauty of Gus is that he trusted him to elevate our story. And when you spend time with someone with Gus's history and character and listen to his stories, you cannot help but be moved. Gus Newport had a lasting impact on every endeavor. The political context that he helped create and led taught me, in the words of a friend of mine, to be practical and principled at the same time. May he rest in power. Thank you.